Alrighty, and welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the IEM Oakland North American Qualifiers. We're still in the semifinals now. The other one has already concluded, and it was the Renegades that came out on top in a 2-0 fashion over CLG. But now we'll move into our other semifinal, and its third map here now. It's OpTic taking on NRG. NRG took control over the first map. OpTic just traded it back on Overpass with a dominating score of 16-8, and now we go to Cash to decide it all.
Yeah, and OpTic's definitely been getting a lot of practice in on this the last few days. I think they started off today with a Cash match against Torqued.
They did.
Which we had the pleasure of viewing. And it looks like they're going to change up their pistol round, right? Everyone's always like, oh, they probably watched our pistol round earlier, right? So if they don't do the highway rush...
They lost both their pistols, if I recall correctly, in the earlier match on this map. But that was against Torqued,
yep.
who had pretty good pistols in comparison, so...
Oh, man, he's hearing everything. Look at Breeze up close.
Oh, and Cirque just bites right into that, too. Easy headshot for him to start it off, and they don't even know about Breeze yet. That's the best part. There we go. Now he surprises, gets the second kill. Mixwell was able to trade onto Cirque, someone opening up the A bomb site. They need to stop these losses, though. OpTic are bleeding dry at this point. So they need to actually get out onto the site, plant the bomb, and restore some of the flow here. Finally, they're going to succeed in doing that. As they do get that plant down onto the ground, it's up to NRG to retake. Dap's already being lit. They do have the kit sitting on him.
I was wanting Freiberg to get out of quad. He has a molly still, right? So they were going to use that molly for the exec. Now it's just kind of...
This flank is going to be somewhat interesting here, too, because Mixwell did kill the one player. Is he expecting the second one? At the moment, no. So A&J just lines it up nice and easy there. The last two both stuck playing together in quad here, and Freiberg kind of the odd man out, but what? How did they not get that intel, apparently, that he was out in the open? So it's brought down to a 1v1, and Magisk will actually clutch it out for OpTic.
Was he checking the default angle in sight?
It seemed like it, yeah.
I mean, I guess that's what you do there. I mean, on the pistol round with a Glock, staying at default is not that bad if you're not alone, right?
Yeah.
Because you could just jiggle and just own people from there, so...
Oh, that's OpTic starting off on a run here. And we'll now get to see...
He has an AK.
Oh, yeah, he does. It's a Quake AK. It's just, you know, just view models off. You gotta have that competitive edge.
Who's the caster that used to be a Quake player? Is that TDK?
I don't... Well, he did play Quake a little. I don't know like how high level he was, but yeah, you're right. He was like a Quake caster too. Did Quake stuff. I
think I saw a YouTube video of like playing it, and it was so fun to watch.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think you're right. That is DDK. I mean, it would make sense.
Why does that make sense?
Well, because I was casting Quake with him like 2 weeks ago. So.
Okay.
It was more like a month ago. Breeze is going to be sitting back here now as that last man standing off to go through. Get a pretty easy clear of the B bomb site. Breeze, though, getting at least one headshot off there. It's against HS himself, ironically enough. Magisk trades that back, and there we go. There's the 2-0 setup for OpTic.
I'm happy that they didn't full buy CT. I feel like every person who talks on broadcast that's audacious, like myself, always finds something that they complain about. For Anders, it's usually like, why aren't they doing a flashbang setup, right? Or why aren't they covering the default plant spot on Cash? Mine is stop force buying second run on Cash. I'm going to keep saying it until the cows come home.
Well, there you go. That's your thing. And look at this stack. Unfortunately, going to be stacked the wrong way. They threw the dice, and they came out on the bottom, it would seem. As they're going to have 4 players sitting in this site, not with a whole lot to do.
And Alu's checking out A, so he's gonna figure it out. He's like, hey guys, nobody at A. I cleared quad. They could be door. Pushing truck.
What are you just emulating?
No, that's what
the
that's
in-game
what he
calls
should be
right
saying, right?
Yeah.
They could be door.
Giving people like a perspective on the inside. This is like the budget version of the team comps since we can't do that anymore.
Yeah, he was probably saying a lot of funny stuff that I wasn't including.
You have to put a very heavy Finnish accent on it as well.
I don't think I can even hear it. I've never even heard Finnish. Like I don't remember what it is. And then replicating an accent is a whole nother thing that I don't know.
It's hard to
like embarrass myself.
It's hard to distinguish it. Is the problem. Without it just like, without like someone just coming on and be like, ah, it's just Swedish. That's the real issue. You have the critics to deal with there. They're out there. All right.
So we have 2 SMGs and a glow coming in this round. That usually means it's going to be some kind of B play. So we'll see what happens.
And it would seem you are correct, as OpTic are very heavily and very quickly shifting over, but oh no, this is actually going to be very bad for NRG. They move in, they do spot that it's open, but they have no one to defend this B site right now. If OpTic continue pushing, they're going to walk in, and it's actually pretty much an open site. It seems almost like a retake angle to a certain degree for NRG. They do have this one player holding them, that's Cirque, and he was presented with an opportunity to get multiple kills. He chooses his own safety over the potential frags, however. He does sit back into a close position. But we'll bring it down to a 5v4. They're trying to make it 5v3 as they attempt to spam him down. I think that's Magisk finding out in checkers there. No success with the kill, though. They only take down the 1 and now have to retake with 1 molly, 1 smoke, and 1 flashbang.
Better be well placed. Where are you going to put the molly?
That's pretty much just a roll the dice right there, so that won't lead to anything. The T's had a molly too. They still have another one as well if they really want to get creative here. But Alu's way out mid. He's actually going to completely stop any attempt at a flank. Cirque, Breeze, and Fugly out of nowhere. They're all getting kills. And now Magisk has to 1v4. He's 1v2'd, and now really just has to run down the timer. Where is it planted, though? That's the important thing right now. They're out of the sight. They know they can't do it. Magisk holds on once again and gives OpTic another round. He will die to the explosion, but that doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when one of the 3 guys that has a kit pushes him first. So, definitely avoidable.
And not only that, but Alu really just messing things up too with that big flank that he went for there. He didn't only go 1 for 1, but still managed to at the very least delay the push back inside, and that was the big goal, I think, for OpTic starting that off 4v5 was to try to delay that for as long as possible, and they did that brilliantly. You know, it's a 1v4 from Magisk, and there's so little time left to defuse the bomb that they have to go in and basically kill him on the first attempt, or it's done right there. So really well held from Magisk. Manages to push OpTic into the lead, and a very secure one at that, but NRG, well, they are on an eco this time, or a half-buy, more appropriately. They're still going to be looking at an op in the play here, so wouldn't count them out just yet, especially with them getting these first 2 kills, too. Now, NRG trying to be a little bit tricky there. He does fail in his job to get a kill, but Fugly comes out on top as he's able to claim one there. Taking out Mixwell, leaving only 2 alive. Trying their best to recover on this. Breeze about to roll in on the flank, though. He's got 1 for free. That's HS going down. Now Alu will have to look to clutch this one out. 1v3. Got decent utility, so he's going to use that smoke to give himself a little bit more real estate to play with here. Oh, he ends up just right out in the open, though. That's an easy shot for Breeze to hit.
And, you know, I think it was that knee-jerk reaction as soon as Magisk gets killed in Squeaky Hallway. They say, oh, the opposite A. Go be as fast as possible, right? So that's one thing to avoid when you're IGLing, right? You definitely don't want to make things seem absolutely urgent unless it really needs to be, unless it's like, oh, the bomb needs to be planted, right? Like, that's one of them. But I think they got hurried and they didn't do everything as thorough as they could have. Sure, you want to be fast, but that's a different story. The double op coming out for NRG. Launch is on the second op.
They want to get back into this quick. No double up.
And they just keep wide swinging A main. This is great. I love NRG playing in this style. OpTic's gonna just try and sit back and hold a default here, it looks like.
Maybe run the timer down a little bit here too, but NRG even getting aggressive at the B site as well. They've got the secondary op pushed all the way out to the edge of checkers. He is going to be going up against a lot of flashbangs here, but he does bait Alu into the shot. So he's going to swing away from that, getting himself back to the site. As we do see OpTic getting prepared to push in. This is what they funneled them to, so you'd think NRG would be ready for this, considering that this is pretty much, you know, the natural conclusion of their push into A main. But at the moment, it's not going so great. 1-to-1 trade. Daps with that missed shot. That's going to seal his doom as HS is able to take him down. And we only just now are starting to see NRG fully rotate over to the other side. Bit of an odd turn of events there. And now it's left NRG in a situation where they may not even really be able to go for this retake. They're just kind of sitting in cheeky positions right now. They got one guy way back on the A site. So ultimately, it looks like they are going to end up saving here, letting OpTic take the round. Maybe just trying to get a couple kills before they eventually give it up.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that guy got such an advanced position onto Cirque, falling out of the tarp door of checkers. I think that Cirque thought that he would have at least heard somebody traveling through a Molotov, right? I think he dumped a Molotov behind himself under vent, or even into vent. Yeah, that's what it was. He threw it into the vent, and I think the guy pushed before it actually, you know, there's that small window of time.
Yeah. Before it starts making noises and stuff.
And then another little thing that went wrong there was they swung wide A main early, and I think Magist took that as he deduced that middle might be like open, so he just went out middle, and that's what allowed for the B split, and Cirque was basically alone at B. Just a difficult round with an op.
And like I said, despite the wide swing at A and the smoke to block it off too, they just didn't really rotate anyone over towards B, even though it was kind of how they liked it. It would funnel players over towards that site. It serves its purpose, but they weren't ready to actually react to it after the play started there. Ball's going to start this one off with a quick killing on Cirque too. So right off the bat, you've got a guy dead in checkers. Daps will rotate in and pick that up really quickly. And oh, just right out in the open there, finds his opponent. What's even worse, Breeze getting burned out. But thankfully, the CTs had a little bit of utility, so they were causing some chaos in the halls. That gives Breeze the moment of clarity and the opportunity to take down HS. But now, things getting even crazier here. OpTic are going to quickly change their hit direction up. Trying to go over towards A, but they see this coming. A&J connects on a one-shot. It's not a full kill, however. Fugly trying to swing out a little bit here towards Forklift. Hopefully he goes unnoticed, and indeed he will. Gets the one, goes down afterwards. A&J also showing up for a one-on-one trade, but Alu with that second shot taking down Daps. That puts it right back into an advantage position for OpTic. And Breeze is left alone to clutch 1v2. He's going to go right for the highway approach to this too. As he works his way up towards it, he will have the coverage of the smoke, at least trying to get close to the side, but he doesn't know if they've split Forklift or... Oh my goodness! Breeze with a beautiful headshot there to start it off well as he takes down Alu. And now Magisk will have to clutch, but as we've seen today, he's no stranger to these clutch situations, especially on Cash. And he comes out on top once again.
10-1. 10-1 Magisk boy. He is definitely not the player you want to get heating up.
No, he's not the one. He's not the guy you want to end up in a clutch with more than anything.
He's the guy who will full backpedaling one clip ace USB your team on this round.
Yeah. Well, that was like the hope, right? Is that we would see him come back into this team and kind of go back into superstar form. At least for today's tournament, it seems like that's kind of coming back in.
See a default approach here. I mean, OpTic knows that NRG has a terrible buy, so they don't need to rush into anything. And they're just going to avoid gimmicky plays, right? He's not going to push anywhere near this smoke while the smoke is still up. He just uses it to get map control. I think the guys kind of hanging towards mid right here will just clear out sandbags, clear out Z, and then maybe leave one person to lurk white box and or top boost, and then decide on which site to hit. And, you know, I don't really know how they're going to find much info, but it looks like that's a little early for a push.
So that's going to take down Breeze and Cirque in HS's case.
So Anj is still waiting. So the whole play is basically Anj is waiting to throw his flashbangs from heaven. Alright, that's not going to get to happen though.
Alu. Going to be able to take down A&J right there. And now we do see the plant going down, so that's secure for OpTic here. Not really much that the NRG players are going to be able to do, so ultimately these two will just have to sit back, hope players come hunting for them. There's not really a reason to hunt them down, however, so that's optimistic to believe that.
I almost feel like at the end of like Dust 2's tenure in the active map pool, it became super T-sided, right?
Yeah, it would
then,
seem so. That was a lot of the discussion.
And then at the very, very end, people started to adapt to that, and it was harder T-sided. I feel like Cash is kind of in that same like evolutionary life cycle right now, right? Where it's just super T-sided map. And I don't know what it's. I think it's gonna take for like CTs to understand how to play mid late round, or at least like read what to do if the Ts have mid late round. I think that's like the biggest difference.
Better Valve just takes it out, you know.
I mean, Cash is a great map. It's super fun. It's just like I feel like if teams know how to use their nades correctly T side, then it's just really hard to deal with.
Well, Dusty should be coming back soon, so.
I'm not gonna lie, as somebody who's been playing CS since its inception, I'm not necessarily too excited about that.
Everyone's like, I'm really worried about it too. Everybody's like,
I don't want to hear anyone ever say mid to B split ever again. I'm just so tired of, like, yeah, let's do that again. Let's do it again. Yeah, we'll do it again. Oh, they're doing it again. That's great.
I'm just waiting for some like dramatically changed version of the map to come back, and everybody's like, what is this? This is so much different. Why did you change so much? That or like they like completely move the map or something like that. Like it's like
I would be happy if it was dramatically changed, right? Like, what's the point of putting it into a holding pattern and taking it out of our lives for like, you know, a little over a year and then not doing much to it? That'd be
it's been like a year now, right?
Yeah. I still know how to smoke on top of Xbox from like 70 different locations. Crouching backwards, underhand jump throw.
Just trick shots with
smoke.
All right, well, the unpause is back. NRG ready to fight again. We'll see if that holds true at the moment. Dap's already being hit as well. I'm going to assume at this point from a nade. Dropped out of 57 HP. OpTic quickly taking control of the B halls. There's going to be a little bit of resistance this time. HS expects it, but the flash really messes him up. ANJ's not only able to take down HS, but he follows it up and stops in the middle of that smoke to take down Freiburg, too.
It seems like OpTic is heavily basing the way they play the round off of the info that Freiburg gets over at B during that initial like B nade control, which is super OP, by the way.
They should know Alu's close, but don't play like it. So they do let Alu walk up there. He's going to be able to take down Fugly. That's a little too bold there, Alu. He's going to try to push forward, and Magisk is actually the one to take down Breeze this time around. ANJ tries to come in on that flank, but this is what I like about OpTic. They do cover most of their assets here. They went through that smoke, so there really wasn't an opportunity to make that flank happen. And now Cirque as well. He's going to be caught very quickly by Mixwell, and he can catch ANJ, or rather the reverse. ANJ will catch him. Takes out Mixwell from the fight. And now he's looking for the last two. There's a tiny hole in this smoke. It's not that great, but it does give him vision on the left side. Flash just completely wrecks him, however. And that's going to let Magisk move out, taking down ANJ and securing a number 8 round for OpTic.
You know, he's grinning. It's the ear-to-ear, toothy grin.
I think
right
there
now.
is like a photo of him like that, where he's just like.
Oh yeah, that's
like
why we're both
face.
vibing about it, because we've definitely seen it.
I don't know if this. I have to remember. I have to find it. This image exists in my
Probably
mind.
Like it's where he's going like this, like.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Over his
I
head,
don't
like,
remember where it's from, but.
Probably like E-League or like.
It's probably when
Epicenter.
they. Yeah, because they won Epicenter, right? Last year.
Yeah.
That was when they were some bigger toss, if I remember. And he was obviously still on the North roster at the time. Really quiet start to this round here. OpTic taking that mid control very early on again, though, and there's no resistance to it from NRG this time. Alu starts us off. All right, just a quick 2 kills for him in A main, and that's where that A main push unfortunately comes back to bite on eco rounds like this. Number 3 might be showing itself very soon too, but not right now anyway. As they do get ready to push into the A site, since by matter of elimination, they're really just trying to speed through these rounds at this point. Get themselves to the original execute. They'll move in. The nade, it's a little bit too far. Daps ran right past it, but Magisk will still be able to easily take down Daps, and for Fugly, there's really not much that he can do. Just a CZ in hand. There's some dead bodies he might be able to take advantage upon in mid. Maybe get a gun or 2 out of that. But even there is going to be a little bit tough to get into, as he has to take down 1 player, and wasn't expecting the second one, as I think he would have assumed they would have been in the site by this point. So just ends up walking right into it as OpTic at their 9th round.
If I'm OpTic, I'm literally calling the exact same thing as I've been doing. Just pressure B early. Right, it seems like NRG doesn't really have a response to that. Even though Anj did get the 2 kills last round, I feel like that was more of an outlier, kind of like an exception to the norm. Like that's probably not going to happen very often.
But Jisk still hasn't died since we last looked at his score, by the way. It's 13-1 now. That's insane. Alu caught up to him in kills, but the deaths thing is really what I'm focusing on at this point. So you've died less than 10% of the time. It's crazy.
I hope to live a life like that.
What's up?
I hope to live a life where I'm like not dying.
I mean,
90% of the time.
We only get 1 life. That's the problem. Technically, we don't die 100% of the time, but until you know what happens, and then just that ratio just down the drain real quick.
Yeah.
Daps gets a nice start to this round. At least finds Freiburg as he tries to push in towards checkers early on. Fugly, though. Oh, all right. There's the silencer showing up at the party right there. However, Alu and Magisk both trade out the 2 kills they lost players on here. So bring it back down to a 3v3 very quickly. Cirque should see this highway presence coming. He's going to hear it for sure with the molly. And it's a leg shot, but it's enough to get a kill. And quickly out to find a second. as he also takes down Alu, spots the last man standing in A main. You know, nope, he's not going to directly peek him. It's ANJ that finishes it off there, back from the truck angle, I think. And that'll be NRG finally putting a second round onto the board.
I think Alu is getting a little overconfident there. Just running at him with his knife out or something. Alu is such a good player, though. When he's feeling confident, you can just tell. He's almost always chooses the right way of playing a situation and also hits the shot. It looks like they're going to go for the light mid setup again. Every round that NRG is going to play for the rest of this half is going to be a struggle. Look at this. They're just going to get whittled down in terms of nades. And they're basically OpTic has them eating out of their hand.
It's an interesting way to phrase it.
Or it's just like when you're like feeding like a dog or something, right? Like they're very, you know, vulnerable when they're eating out of your hand.
OpTic now getting ready to push forward. Breeze is there to resist it. Takes down Magisk as they push up. Fugly. Oh, unfortunately, it's flashed from that position. Man, Breeze suffering the same thing too. The flashbangs from OpTic really on point this round. As you can see, just two players completely locked out of really being able to do anything as a result of getting hit by flashes. So nicely done as that gets them to control the site. And it's really up to NRG here. Do we want to go for the retake? We kind of need to because we need to win some rounds, but this is tough, even with that utility. Yeah,
so it's like, do I almost go for a guaranteed loss right here? Or do I like go for it with a 1% chance of winning?
Yeah. Because
if I lose, I'm going to get reset hard.
It looks like they're going to decide to go for it here. The problem is they spend time like just thinking about if they're going to go for it, so they they end up reversing that decision now when they realize, oh man, we wasted too much time thinking if we wanted to do this or not, so now we'd have to not do it.
You know what'd be sweet?
What?
Is if you like showed that you were saving pretty early, right? And
like
so
give
you
some
like
indication.
bait them into chasing you.
Yeah.
And then you like run boost somebody on top of the boost behind them and like ninja through A main. Right? So you get them to chase you like outside of A main and highway.
That'd be so
cool.
cool.
Go over the top of them.
If it actually worked.
Yeah. If sound wasn't made when you run boosted.
Yeah.
In the running time.
You give the
shoot in a Gev somewhere.
Give you the ninja passive there. It's like what it is. Well, let's see if NRG can piece anything together as we are coming close to the end of the first half now. OpTic still with the penultimate advantage, and NRG again working with very little utility here, but you know, discounting what they've already used, which is just basic smokes. They've only got one molly and 2 re-smokes really to play with, besides flashes, and we know most flashes are probably going to end up going to go unused. So I'm not really going to count those right now. Daps just completely deleted by Magisk as he tries to push out from A main there. Oh, Al actually misses that shot, so that gives Cirque the chance to recover, getting a second kill. He did miss Mixwell, but pushed up to that white box too, so we'll go 2 for 1, but that's still a great achievement there from Cirque as it reverses the previous kill that OpTic has gotten for free. Now moving in though, Magisk is going to strike once more. Breeze swings out, gets the first kill, trying to go for the second. It's against Mixwell too. Magisk again having to save the day. It's brought down to a 1v1, and he looks like he does expect to find Fugly up on top here. 45 seconds left to plant, though, so Magisk is not pressured for time in any sense of the word. Fugly, however, also does not have any utility at all. It's going to be a completely dry retake from him, and Magisk just saw him. Lines up, great shot. Magisk also getting hit, and they're basically even now. 18 versus 11 HP. Just trying to time this to the best of his abilities. You can see him using all of his nades, just trying to get rid of him at the very least. And now lined up for the push back in, and he succeeds in clutching it out. Beautifully done. Once again, it's Magisk that comes out on top with another 4K.
Oh, you could just tell. You could tell as soon as Fugly walked back down that ramp it was going to be difficult. You know what's interesting also about getting up on top of that default box is there's some little like holes that you can see through in it. So if you're standing on that middle like tier where Magisk was, if you move left and right, there's a little side you can see through. You can see them walking through tree. And it's actually useful. It's not just like some cookie with a small hole somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
It's actually really useful for clutching if you know that he has to come tree.
There's one of those, I think, on a quad, too, but it's like not easy to like look into. So it's
really?
Not as, yeah, I forget where it's at, but I think it lets you check somewhere else on the site without having to peek it. But I think the problem is it also like exposes you to someone else or something like that. So it's like it's too much of a risk to use it most of the time.
Yeah.
OpTic, though, are going to push past this round with relative ease, killing 1 player over here on the A site and 3 on the B site, leaving only Daps alive, who is going to swing up the door, revealing his presence to Magisk, who goes in just for the quick second kill. Pretty sure that puts him at 20 now in the first half.
Yeah.
Indeed it does. 20 and 3.
Told you he was gonna have 20.
Yeah. just the wrong map.
Oh.
You just predict the future, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, maybe what I do is I try and predict the present, but what I do is predict the future. So if I can harness and know what future event it is referring to.
Turn you into a clairvoyant.
Yeah.
Well, early on here, it looks like Mixwell actually gets tagged, and Cirque strikes with a kill, too. He's going to be able to take down Alu. Nice and early on here. Still 5 running strong for NRG. And it's OpTic looking for trades here, but with NRG back up to full strength for the final round, it's not looking as easy as it once was. You can see most of OpTic probably going to try to go over top on boost, but NRG's ready for this, so this mid play is going to be tough to make happen. Molly goes down. Dap's already killing the bomb carrier, though, and Cirque with an easy second kill. OpTic, unfortunately, that was a nice catch by Majisk. Getting the second smoke there as it rolls right back down onto him. However, it's just him and HS now trying to go up against the world, essentially. They have pretty much exhausted all of the CT's utility. That's a very small token. Majisk, he's going to go over top of the smoke. There's a pre-fire into that corner. Not sure if he could see the player there or not, but he's definitely heard his presence. Breeze back down in the corner, too. He's going to try to play this so cautiously, so quietly, using the molly to funnel him. They know for sure he's still in that corner now. And there we go. Finally, Majisk can move forward, getting the kill. They're still going to make an attempt at this. OpTic is by no means given up in this situation just yet. Just to be very, very careful about the way they proceed now, considering that there are only 2. And there's still 4 remaining from NRG. With time getting low, they do need to look to a quick option to get up onto his site, and they are going to choose the vents route as that option to move in. Daps will hear all of this. Should be able to jump right down, getting 1, potentially both for free. He'll go 1 and 1 at least, and that brings it all onto HS, who now has to clutch solo. 1v3. Might not even be able to get the plant there, too. Yeah, there you go. It's 15th rounds. The loss of a plant does not really mean much. But we did see them make their best attempt to clutch that out. 2v5. They bring it down to 3 for NRG. But ultimately, NRG win it and get 3 rounds on the half.
Yeah, I think the main thing about that first half was the fact that OpTic have HS and Freiburg, which are both just gods, working B on T side. And it doesn't hurt when you have Majisk Boy, your squeaky door player, with 22, 23 frags.
Just killing everyone.
Yeah,
basically.
like if your squeaky door player has the most frags, then that just means he's going off, right? Because that's kind of like the same thing as the Palace player on Mirage, right? He's there to trade, right? He's not going to get like a ton of frags. He'll get like his 1 to 2 here and there, but you know, there's just so many eco rounds from NRG.
And Majisk has become like the clutch player to a certain degree here too, showing up when he needs to. I think he did this, he was fulfilling a very similar role back when they were playing Cash against Torque too, but basically kind of like the cleanup crew, and that if things do get a little bit hairy, a little bit close towards the end of it, he's the guy that comes in and gets like the massive multi-frag that wins them the round outright. Or obviously just clutches the 1vx situation that he's done at least 2 times in this map and, you know, 4 or 5 times beyond this map throughout the day so far.
Yeah. I just can't get that picture of him out of my head. I feel like every time, like I see, like, you know, some kid with an anime picture and an ESEA pug just owning me, I think he looks like
it's just a Majisk.
It's him every single time, just shooting my body.
They all have Danish accents too. Well, let's find out here now if NRG's going to be able to have any hope of a comeback at all. They did get very close to winning that pistol, but as we saw, that pistol got a little bit weird there, and OpTic ended up coming out on top of it. So now they'll look for a second opportunity. They're playing just the regular retake on A, however, OpTic this is, and NRG's, you know, going to buy right into that. So basically, we'll just have the retake on A as the pistol round. As I'm pretty sure OpTic are going to let them just walk out. Obviously, we have the spam coming through the smokes, but very rarely do we see an actual kill on that spam. There we go. Alu starts it off on the retake. Not too well there. A little bit risky jumping over the top. Freiburg takes him a moment to realize that that is indeed a player, but he gets the kill. And now look at this, moving up. Having complete faith in his teammates to manage the quad player. As we do see Breeze. Oh my goodness, Breeze doing some... What is this from Breeze right now? 3 kills all from that quad position. And Fugly comes in just to seal the deal. Breeze even got the assist on the last player there too. Very well held. And he single-handedly keeps energy in that pistol round.
So you know what needs to happen there? The thing that's missing? Freiburg needs to throw the smoke from truck as his team takes over the site, and just through the chaos, the smoke lands on top of the bomb and he defuses it. So that's something that G2 actually championed. I think it was Cluj Napoca or something, they had this really cool setup on Cash, obviously, where the guy would play truck instead of with a Molotov, he'd have smoke kit, and they'd stack 4B. And if they took A, he would literally, like, they would all run up highway, and one guy would flank A main just to annoy them, and he would just throw the smoke, and they would rush the site and through all the chaos and just diffuse in the smoke. So I was hoping I would see that, but not today.
Well, it's NRG pretty much just going on cleanup duty here for the second round of the half. Breeze, I believe that was a one tap, but he does manage to pick off the head of Alu anyway. And now it's just a Mixwell and HS on the other side of the map. Not really with anything that they can do. It's just unfortunately out of position here, so just have to play off of that. Maybe get a kill or two on exit, but that would be pretty much it. NRG should go up to 5 here.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see NRG. This is not an undoable comeback, especially because they won the pistol round. And I'm happy to see OpTic not fully buying up, so I think we're going to see that first real work happen on round 19. And who needs to start stepping up here? So I haven't seen Cirque op on T side of this map, but I love his aggressive style, so I'm wondering where he's going to like to go. One of the harder things to do on this map, I think, is kind of like pick into A main, right? Like there's so many angles to check, and I'm wondering if he has the desire to do that. It's a hard role to fill. OpTic most likely going to go for no buy here, right? They have plenty of rounds to play with. No reason to get too ambitious on new purchases.
Just focus on the gun rounds is going to be their philosophy here for the start of the half. Since they have that lead, they can let NRG. Even running it up to 6-12 is still a massive lead, and somehow Mixwell, that's super long range too. Tap's just getting wrecked by that, it would seem. He's able to take him down there nice and early. So maybe there's some hope for OpTic to upset here. We'll see. Wouldn't get my hopes up just yet. But that kill on the lurker is a good start.
Now Mixwell has a flash too.
Yeah, and now they know exactly what the hit's going to be too. Freiberg, that's a risky spot he goes to. He's got to hope it doesn't spread again. Regardless, he dies anyway. But he does do some decent damage before going down. And now with a flash to assist, more players can start pushing back in. HS so far the only one that's been successful, however, and it is ultimately brought back down to Magisk. Taps Cirque, however, and he's got the bomb under his control, but he can't really stay there, as that is probably going to lead to one, him getting flashed, and then dying afterwards. He's actually trying to play this for the clutch right now. Which means he's got a long little lurk to go on around the back halls up to the site again. I don't think he's going to have an opportunity to pick up a gun, as most of the action happened in the actual site. At the very least, he might be able to hide out here in Sunroom, maybe get an exit or two, or if he wants to go for it. Let's see if they're watching towards this T entryway. It doesn't look like they actually have anyone watching it, so he can sit here pretty safely and wait for these guys to go out, exit. And now he can also fire it either way, too. Previously in Sunroom, there was a chance that he misses this. Now, he's obviously, at least he gets the opportunity. Still at that range, USP is going to be very hit or miss, but, you know, at least he gave himself the chance.
Yeah, he almost had the 11,115th kill on his stat track USP. And by the way, that stat track USP is one of the newer ones, and he has that many kills.
Is it?
Yeah, the Neo Noir. That's like a newer
Oh, yeah, that came out like 3 or 4 months ago, I think.
Yeah, all I know is that it's relatively new. Could have been 3.
Just goes into like the stat track server to bring the numbers up.
Yeah.
Those actually exist.
I was getting bullied at school today for having my stat track weapons be too low, so I decided to...
Bubble those numbers a little bit.
Yeah. Here comes the A explode.
Oh, I love this spot.
This looks like the old Envious strat.
Nobody suspects him either. They quickly turn on him, however, so he's only going to get that 1 kill. And that 1 kill is not enough to justify HS and Mixwell, at least in my eyes, to go for this retake.
So that strat's really cool because the way you do your smokes is based on what you hear at middle early round. Right, so if you hear a bunch of stuff going on in mid, like CT's throwing like the anti-rush nades, what you'll do is you'll be like, all right, that means that somebody's probably going to fight us highway pretty hard when we come up. And did you notice how they didn't smoke cross? Right,
yeah.
So they made the read that it's going to be like a site-heavy defense. So they have the guy squeaky smoke out the site and pop flash while like 4 guys just swing out A main, right? It's really like, uncharacteristic for that to happen before any kind of cross smoke.
Daps even going hunting here now a little bit since they have a little bit of a lead to play off of, at least in this half. Trying to see if they can drop some extra guns from that CT side. As they'll be looking to carry these into the next rounds. They can still have some firepower here. Pretty successful at it too. Both Mixwell and HS make it out alive. The big issue is that they're not able to get much beyond that. They can drop 2 FAMASas, each of them, since they have pretty much full utility. So that, you know, that makes it a pretty decent buy. As behind those drop FAMASas, they should, in theory, be able to get themselves, you know, utility going. But it looks like they decide not to go for that, actually. They're just going to light buy here.
Look at all the smokes.
Yeah, I still want to play it on normally. They didn't want to take the risk on a purchase this early, though.
So it looks like Magisk is smoking off A main. Trying to scuttle them towards mid. Oh no, both rifles are in B. So maybe the B guys, yeah, the B guys threw no nades early round, right? So they smoked mid and they smoked A, so they're trying to scuttle them towards B to the guns.
And there's like 0 presence at A too. A is essentially just a retake position for most of these guys.
And look at Cirque. I love that guy. I love being in matchmake at 4 a.m. and there's a guy holding from T spawn B.
You never know, man. You never know when a shooting star is going to come down that pathway in the form of a CT.
Yeah. I mean, if I was really bad, that's what I would do for the entire half. Or if I had, like, recently gotten out of, like, getting my tonsils taken out or something, and I just, like, can't really play as good as normal, I'll just hold the needle.
Just stay here. Just don't move. Till the play we go. Well, they've already dropped 1 player here from the side of OpTic as Mixwell goes down. And now we have the rest of the team moving in. We do have the 1 solo player over here towards A. Problem is,
seems like they always send Fugly on these like suicide lurk missions. Like he, all right, like just go A and get as many kills as you can. And he's gonna get a lot of them.
I told you they're giving him that opportunity to really show stuff.
Yeah.
He's just that guy from NA.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for him because I actually do think he's a really strong player. But I also respect him, right? Because I feel like the reason why he's not as, like, you know, talked about or whatever the word would be is because he doesn't oversell himself, right? That might just be me being cynical, though, right?
Doesn't, like, toot his own horn or anything.
Yeah, he's not always playing rank S and, like, not always, like, you know, saying a bunch of, you know, edgy stuff. He just kind of plays for his team. Does a good job.
He's like he's the salary man CSGO player.
Yeah, exactly.
So NRG pushing over the top. They do get that little bit of mid control going. They still kind of have to fight for mid, though. They've only gotten into the cubby. They haven't really taken a whole lot of control just yet, as you still have that white box player to deal with. So Alu kind of holds the line between him and the A site. If he can stay alive and get at least 2 kills here, that pretty much kills the hit from NRG. But if he instantly goes down, he's going to be forced to look away. He took an odd position, though, and that caught Breeze off guard. So he is able to get that first kill. From the flash, he should know there's a second player somewhere around here, either on boost or in cubby, though. So we'll have to stay vigilant for that, as the rest of NRG is now getting ready to go into A main and line up for a hit onto the site. Not a lot happening at the moment, though, as NRG is trying to figure out how they can make this happen without any of the highway pressure they had before. In fact, he still thinks that's a reality. They get caught up as a result of that moving in. Daps will find the first entry. Magisk, oh, he gets caught out, actually. The timing from the push on Daps works out, so as it distracts Magisk and stops him from focusing up on the duel against Fugly. Now more rotating in from the OpTic side of things. They all get here pretty quickly. Not in great positions to retake. Alu makes the best of a bad situation happen, though. And not only him either, but Mixwell picks up the kill. Cirque tries to push from A main, unsuccessfully, I should add, as he misses that shot, only gives away his position. And now they're outnumbered. Now they're down a player, down 2 players here. It's all up to Cirque. It's a great swing, but he's got to get 2 more kills, and he's got to stop this defuse. There's plenty in the safe spots, so they'll fully defuse it. He will take down HS. That's a small token here, as OpTic will be able to maintain their lead as they push up to 13.
Jeez, man. Cirque is a monster. Oh. This guy has so much potential. Like, in terms of, like, his ability to point and click is very, very strong. The only time I ever see him make a mistake, it seems like he needs to have a better understanding of when it's okay for him to die. Right? It seems like he dies a little too early sometimes in certain rounds. but that can be fixed. But his aim is insane, man. Good movement, too. But it wasn't enough that round.
No, it was not. And now OpTic sit just 3 rounds away from map victory and series victory, too, to push them into the grand finals, where they would play against the Renegades, who was patiently waiting in that grand finals slot. Probably watching the stream. Hello, Renegades, if you're there. I mean, I would assume so, right?
Yeah.
So they gotta get ready for this game.
I wonder if Renegades like to play cache.
Just had to do it, didn't you?
I'm embarrassed now. I feel bad.
Well, we've got NRG getting ready to go over the lip here and over into the middle area to try and take some control. OpTic also sit back. Not really actually resisting it too heavily, even with HS out in the open there. The support system isn't that great, but HS able to get that kill. Mixwell, a bit of a delayed reaction as he does spot the hit coming, but now they're going to know it's a great flash too. It's going to let HS go out. They caught Breeze without his gun drawn, and while HS gets a little lost after that, and he'll be taken down by Cirque now, but still, damage being done. It's a 4v2, now a 4v1 with Alu picking up the kill on Cirque. Just Anjay left standing, and he's behind his smoke, doesn't have the bomb. Only has 1 flashbang. Trying to get that trade, but he can't even do that. Alu still wins it with 8 HP left over.
And we are reaching critical mass here, Blue.
Yes.
Plenty of money, though, in NRG.
Yeah, I mean...
OpTic is not out of the woods yet. This thing is not closed up. This is like the point in time when, like, let's say OpTic is an NA team and NRG is some EU team. This is when they just start crumbling, right? They get to round 14. Oh, I've seen it like so many times. I'm
especially
like
if it's online.
tired just thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. I'm like, oh no.
Let's not forget the bad memories. Let's forget about those times. AJ looking for something to start this off here. HS does get tagged by that. I'm not sure if AJ realizes that, however. Regardless, he will end up falling back into the halls a little bit more. Just suspicious of there being a push. And him dying this early on would not benefit his team by any means at all.
I think OpTic, both the B-site players, did a really good job of not overexpending their utility in response to Anj's kind of default nades right there. Because like Anj now has no nades, but he also didn't get much out of the B players. Right? They're still playing up pretty close. They're not double sight. And that's your goal as that B main default guys. You want to basically deny them checkers control and or have them use their nades. And neither of those things happened.
Well, NRG will now get ready to go in as their time is limited. Freiberg is able to hold the first one. Magiz takes a big risk there. He quickly realizes it was a mistake. He dives back down, is able to get another kill there before he ends up dying to Breeze. Just 1-for-1 trades basically is how this take starts off for NRG. And they bring it down to a 3v3. OpTic are trying to retake with 2 ops, however. So I would imagine Alu or Mixwell would end up trading out to an AK. Probably Mixwell. Yeah, there we go. Drops it, goes over to a FAMAS instead. So they can have a more even loadout on this retake. They'll go in. Breeze is ready for that one, though, and instantly gets 2 kills. Tries to chain it onto 3. His opponent will get behind coverage in time, but finishes it off anyway as he absolutely dominates the retake from OpTic there. It secures a 9th round for NRG.
As soon as I saw that, like I looked, when they took the site and they planted the bomb, and I was looking at the 3v3 and then on radar, I noticed that Breeze was near Fork and also near A main. I felt pretty sure that they're going to win the round. Right, because you want your strong aimer in that angle taking those game battles. And luckily the flash flies past his head. Yeah. Well, OpTic are going to end up on a full save this time. And wow, NRG wasting absolutely no time to take here. Just full stop rushing B. Getting that very quick control. As they're going to be looking to pick up a 10th round now. Getting close to the retake. We can see OpTic tries to push back in, but that does not go very well. And NRG shut it down, keeping all 5 players alive along the way. Good for their money build-up, making sure they keep it going. OpTic, on the other hand, will get their buy this time. They will not have an op with it, so it is going to be just 4 rifles, but they should be able to get pretty much everybody fully bought except for Magisk, who's at 3850, so he's got to downgrade in one department here. And it's not going to be the rifle department, though. He's going to choose to go with no nades. Watch out for the B pick by Cirque here. He had a really good spawn, I think. Nope, he didn't go for it. Yeah.
all be sitting back right now. That's great.
Anj, what are you going to do, bud?
Freiburg creeping up here a little bit, looking for someone in the backside. He does dink him, but couldn't get the second shot going. Halley, though, just all right.
Ooh, that's a design play.
Walks right up there now that the bait has been taken. He's able to get those 2 quick kills. Mixwell shutting out Fugly, too. And NRG just don't know what to think of themselves. Completely flustered in this whole situation, and they just fall apart before they even get close to a bomb site. Very, very well played from OpTic Gaming. That might have just secured them the match here. NRG still has cash to buy, so they are going to reinvest here, but now it's just one more round needed for OpTic.
That's just OpTic being pretty well practiced, right? So they had low utility, and it's like, how are you going to deal with this round, right? So what they do is they use footsteps as a piece of utility. They have 2 guys making it seem like they're being idiots, pushing Squeaky, gets that guy's attention, and then they boost over a counter boost. And bait and switch.
Yeah.
It's called the footstep flash.
And Majisk is actually with that smoke going to be able to go inside of Amy and go on top of those boxes, so he has the advanced position. We have mid presence potentially working its way out here too. You can see that nade, the damage that did. 39 HP, and oh, the spam from Mixwell too. It's only going to get 1, but it does do great damage to a second player. Fugly just barely able to trade that kill back out. And now the rest of OpTic is split 2 for 2 across the map here, trying to figure out how they want to split up their defense. They just go with the even route. Now we will be up on the site. One more playing into the back checkers corner box. They may not really expect this player to be here. Actually. This could be good for them because HS can get the sound cues called out. Alu can then be advised of where exactly these players are going to be positioned. He sees the one peeking fully out this way, but HS still does not want to challenge him. He wants to keep his position as a surprise. We can multi-frag just like this, 1 and 2. But right after that, Aloe and Freiburg shut it down. So it goes into OpTic's hands, and they take control now, with the final scoreline being 2-1 in their favor, and that will propel OpTic onward into the grand final.
Yeah, I think most people would have picked OpTic to probably take this BO3, but it looked like it could have gone either way there up until like maybe the last 6 or 7 rounds. So hats off to NRG, definitely becoming more well-known with all of these consistent well placings and also taking it to top teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And now the final bout is set, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be the Renegades taking on OpTic Gaming. Do stick with us for that. It's probably going to be, I'm going to guess, about a 20 to 30-minute break here, probably in between the matches, as OpTic's going to need a little bit to refresh themselves. But as soon as they're ready to play, and obviously as soon as the Renegades is ready to go, we'll be in that server, ready to bring you the match, guys. So stick with us, and we'll be back in just a little bit with the grand finals of the IEM Oakland qualifiers.
All eyes are on you.